Today, we have Tatyana Thurston. She's a founder of a niche brand of estate planning services, and she heads up Dexit as one of the only estate planning services that helps you manage and prepare your online digital assets and legacy as part of standard practice. It is in your family's best interest that they have the means and needs to access your online accounts in order to best fulfill their fiduciary requirements. With education, awareness, and understanding, they help people navigate this potentially complicated online world. Today, today's topic is photos through time, preserving memories and protecting privacy. Now, over time, the way we take and share photos has evolved, which has significantly shaped our society. In this session, Tatiana will explore the history of photography from rare moments captured on film to the widespread use of smartphones for everyday pictures. She'll discuss the importance of backing up your photos, share tips for organizing them for your loved ones, and highlight why printed photos continue to hold value. She'll also examine how sharing photos online has raised privacy concerns and why it's essential to be mindful of what and how we share. With that being said, thank you so much for being here, Tatiana. Let's all welcome her. Thank you so much. And the floor is yours.
Hi, everybody. I hope everybody had a great Valentine's Day. And thank you so much, Seek and Dave, for having me. It's always fun to be here. Yeah, today I thought it would be fun to talk about photos, look at a little bit of history of pictures, and kind of like take a bit of a theoretical view as to how it's shaped decisions that we make today that were very different than maybe decisions we would have made a long time ago. So with that, I have a slide deck. It's got some video and audio, and we'll do some polling questions. If you have any questions, please ask Dave. We'll put him on the spot. And if you can't hear the video or anything, please let me know. I'll be sure to do this the right way. All right, so I'm going to start here. Is that good for everybody?
Yeah, that looks good.
Okay, great. Okay, so we will be looking at digital photos, and we will also kind of think about and understand the importance of backing up digital photos. We're going to look at different ways to do that. It's obviously changed over the last 20 years. We'll look at cloud storage options and external drives. We'll also look about or discover some clever ways to organize your photos online and share photos with loved ones. We will look at the different platforms that are out there for sharing. And then we'll also take a look at the risks of photo sharing today, including risk options that are related to tracking. And so specifically your location, it can be in real time, it can be a still image tracking. And then we'll look at something called sharenting. And I will ask if Zeke, would you mind putting out our first poll? And I would like to know, out of our group, let's see, how many are we? We're about 107 people today. How many people in our room today use smartphones only for taking pictures? How many people have gotten rid of their photo cameras with the buttons, or maybe if you take it with a film and you've chucked it aside and said, you know, smartphones are the way to go? Looks like we still have a couple holding on to their old school cameras. Now, if it's a digital camera, I guess that's a question we didn't specify, but I'd say that would count. I'm talking smartphone versus the big clunky phone that you carry around with you when you go traveling.
The
Are we about
results?
there? Yep, the results. So I see on my screen that 82% of you do only use smartphones to take pictures, and 18% of you do not. So that's interesting. Okay, so most of us have converted. Can I share the result? Does that work? Do you see that there?
Yeah, everybody saw it with you.
Oh, okay, okay, great. Okay, so let's see here. So in looking at pictures, in fact, these are some of my family's personal pictures, and I think my mom is watching us today. What's really interesting is that, there have been developments between black and white, the sizing, the paper, the shapes, color. Of course, fading was an issue. And, it's really special to have these photos in a box somewhere. You may be not looking at it all the time. And what's interesting about printed photos is that, especially in childhood, it's something called childhood amnesia. And basically, what that is we don't really remember very well. I think it's our first 5 to 7 years of existence. So, like, even that's me over there in the very left-hand side with my grandfather and his car there. I don't remember that, but because I've seen that picture so many times, and there's only a few pictures that are there, those are memories that have been instilled. So a lot of people remember memories, but the memories actually came from printed pictures, not their actual memory of remembering what happened, which I think is really cool, or really interesting. And I'm just going to play this little video for us, and we'll just take a look and go down memory lane here.
Photography is creating images by recording light, either electronically by using an image sensor or chemically by means of light-sensitive materials like photographic film. The very first photograph was taken in France in 1826. It was rather crude and took at least 8 hours of exposure time. But since then, advancements in chemistry and technology have made it possible for people to take photographs simply by pulling cameras out of their pockets or bags.
While the use of crude cameras, such as the camera obscura, which allowed artists to trace a projected image, have been around since the 1500s, photography as we know it began as a chemical process. Beginning with the daguerreotype, the first publicly available photographic process used in the 1840s and the 1850s. Invented by Louis Daguerre, the daguerreotype used a chemical process that fixed images to a piece of silver-plated copper. The copper plate was placed in the camera, exposed to light, which produced an image that was fixed by exposing it to mercury vapor. This highly toxic, cumbersome process produced an easily damaged image that was then placed in a case to keep it safe.
Other chemical processes were introduced, gained popularity, and were quickly replaced until George Eastman introduced photographic film. In 1885, Eastman received a patent for a film roll and then invented a camera that could contain the preloaded film.
In 1888, he released the Kodak camera, which was loaded with enough roll film for 100 exposures. Photographers would buy the camera, take the pictures, and mail it back to the Eastman Company along with $10. That's about $320 in today's money. The company would process the film, make a print of each exposure, load another roll of film into the camera, and send it back along with the photographs. Then in 1901, Kodak introduced the Kodak Brownie camera, bringing what we now refer to as the snapshot to anyone who wanted to take pictures anywhere, anytime.
Film photography long ruled the platform. Then, in 1988, Fujifilm produced the first digital camera that could record and save images in a digital format. Since then, digital cameras have taken over the photography industry, with an estimated 99% of people using digital cameras, increasingly on their phones. The first phone with a camera came out in 1999.
Let us know what your favorite part of this video was in the comment section. And if you enjoyed it,
Oops. So, okay, do I still have everyone? Yes, okay. So yeah, that was, I think, a trip down memory lane, maybe for some of you longer than others. I thought that was fun to go back and look. I definitely remember the films, and it would have to clip over. But you know, technology's changed. In 1999, just thinking that it's really only but, I don't know, 25, 26 years ago, what it's done is fuse video camera and camera. So still images are still really important. And as technology has changed, so has terms. So, you know, not everything do we call a still image. We have different types of images. And so I threw in a couple words here that you can hear. So like a meme, for example, is the cat on the right. It's a still image of a cat, but he kind of has a funny face, like he's bored. But then the meme has some sort of a caption that's either like a little bit of mockery or humor. It doesn't have to be a real still image. It could be like a cartoon. It's making reference to something. So those are called memes. Then we have things that are like animated still images. If you look at the bottom right, that little blue man who's got his two little legs that he's jumping up and down, those are called GIFs, right? And they're just repeated short images that don't have a lot of function. They're not bringing up emotions. They're not bringing up some sort of historical content, although some of those have become well known because either they're funny or they've been overused on the internet to represent something in particular. So we've got the motion, we've got memes, and then now where we're going is that these images and videos are being used and shared on social media platforms. And the impact on society with that is quite a lot, quite huge actually. So in this sample here, I was just going to show you, and it's interesting because we would be sharing images on Facebook, right? And we can share images on an email. And usually those were family things. Well, when Facebook came around, it was after MySpace, everything went on Facebook. And originally it was really a place of community, a place of sharing good news, happy news with your friends. Although once Facebook became monetized, of course, the use of these pictures have completely changed. And the marketing, the messaging, the advertising, there's a lot of negative stuff that comes associated with monetizing what's on a social media platform. The latest platform, so if you asked my kids today, hey, did you check out my Facebook post? They probably would look right through me and say, nope, they don't use Facebook. They don't even use email. They use something called Snapchat. And so I thought I would introduce it to you and show you how Snapchat has used not just imagery and videos. Some of them probably don't even make sense to you. It's not even worth a pretty photo to look at. They'll snap pictures of ceilings or a cloud or their shoelace, or it's half their face. And instead of writing an email back and forth to each other, they're snapping pictures. And the pictures, if it's worth 1,000 words, great. Chances are it's probably worth very few words because you're looking at, I don't even know what. So I'm going to show you Snapchat. And what's important here is the fact that there's this geolocation tracking. So all these pictures, because they're on a cell phone, they're associated with a location, a time, a date. And even, as you might know, on your Apple phone, it recognizes your face. So even in the categories of albums, your iPhone, for example, might say, they'll group faces together so that you have family albums. They're really clever with this. So Snapchat, I'm going to show you this video here, and just think about how it would impact society, right? So how do these kids walk around snapping pictures?
When you open Snapchat for the first time, you'll notice that it's built differently from social media. We don't open to a feed powered by an algorithm. Snapchat is a messaging service that most people use to communicate with their real-life friends and family, similar to text messaging or phone calls. Our goal is to provide a healthy and safe experience, and our core features are designed to reflect the fun and spontaneity of in-person conversations. Here's a quick overview of the key parts of Snapchat. Snapchat opens into a camera. It's an easy and visual way for you to share what's on your mind with the people who matter most to you. Snap a quick video or photo with our augmented reality lenses to put fun and educational layers on the world, and get creative by overlaying text, stickers, and more. To the left of the camera is Chat, where you can talk to your friends and family using text and pictures. Your chats will show when both friends are there at the same time. They'll indicate when your friend has opened and viewed your snaps. Snaps and chats delete by default to mirror real-life conversations, where what you say or do isn't recorded forever and shared with a bunch of strangers. This helps people feel more comfortable expressing themselves, the same way they would if they were just hanging out with friends in person. And while chats and snaps delete by default, you do have the option to save chats, simply by tapping on the ones you want to save. In Chat, you can also make voice and video calls and join group conversations. Swipe to the left of Chat for the map. Our map is an interactive way for Snapchatters to share their favorite spots, discover new places, and see what their friends are up to, but only if they choose to share their location with you. And if you go back down to the action bar, there are 2 more tabs to cover: Stories and Spotlight. Swipe to the right of the camera for Stories. Add snaps to your story to share more of your day with friends and family, and scroll down to discover new stories and content about the world, produced by trusted media publishers and verified creators. Right next to Stories is our entertainment platform, Spotlight. This is where Snapchatters can submit and watch short, fun, and creative videos. That's it. 5 tabs for fast visual communication with your close friends. To learn about the safety protection.
So that's Snapchat. And as you can see, there is this mapping capability that is very much in your privacy sphere, right? Sorry. So let's see here. Sorry, to go back to Snapchat, when we saw that map where all the little friends are, the little cartoon characters all over the map. So those are in real time. And even if you're moving, the little avatar will be in a car or a boat or an airplane, and it tells people how you're moving through space, where you're going, down to exactly where you are in a particular grocery store. So it's very accurate tracking. And there's one thing, if as a parent, the first thing I would say is caution and explain to your kids what that means. That there are options to shut off the location tracking on Snapchat. So back to photos and memories. So photos and memories is very special, right? It tells a history of where you've been. Ancestry.com has 25 million users just for that reason. And losing pictures is really a hardship. It's detrimental. So there's deletion in various ways. These are things that can be prevented. There's accidental deletion, which happens to all of us, which is kind of why they invented the cloud. But you're saving your pictures on an external drive, which could look like a little box. We've got computer drives, which is the drives within your laptop or your desktop. And then, of course, we have cloud storage and apps. Even apps like Snapchat, even though the pictures might be deleted right away, you can still store and save those pictures in Snap. You can store them in Facebook. And again, if you've posted them to Facebook or Meta, it belongs to Meta. They're not your pictures. It's your account, but technically, if there's an IP involved in that picture, it belongs to Meta or any other social media where you post your pictures. So if you want a hard copy, be sure to download it somewhere on a hard drive that you have, physical access to. Hardware failure, that happens all the time. You can have a lightning strike. I remember it happened to us and our phone lines caught on fire. You just don't know. So you always want to back up what you've got, whether it's photos or any specific information from your computer. When we look at data breaches and theft, that's a big one. It's a famous one. It's a popular one. Unfortunately, it's hard to prevent some of these data breaches. Just know that whatever information you do put out there is at risk. Of course, the emotional toll of losing these pictures is huge. My business partner just found out 2 weeks ago that every single picture she had of her daughter between birth and age 8 was under a specific iCloud account that she got rid of, not thinking about the pictures. And she bought a new phone and got a new iCloud account and didn't even think to realize what was gone until she went looking for it. And so she has absolutely no pictures from her daughter's younger years, which is not a good story, but this is exactly what we're trying to highlight. And then, of course, there's device restrictions and access. Sometimes things are on iPads, sometimes they're on tablets, they're on phones. It's a lot to keep track of. I know it is, but it's more important to just keep a backup copy somewhere. So there's different kinds out there. There's physical drives, which to me was the easiest because you know it's there, it's your computer. If it could be external, which means you just plug it to your computer. It could be internal to your computer, and it's the actual file. It's the raw file. When you're buying memory, in the case of like a hard drive, it's a one-time fee. Cloud storage, on the other hand, there's numerous companies out there that will store your photos and your documents. Excuse me. Google Photos, Google Drive, Amazon, iCloud, any image editing software will be holding your stuff. Video calling apps, when you have like WhatsApp, for example. And here you're starting to rack up some pricing because depending on your needs, you're paying on a subscription service. And a subscription service, what's important to note here is that all of a sudden, if that subscription is no longer paid, whatever data is being stored there is at risk of complete loss. So even if you do have cloud storage, personally, I would recommend another backup. Of course, they say, oh, that's very secure to keep your stuff there. They spend a lot of money on cybersecurity. That's what they have to do. And but anything on the cloud is kind of at your own risk. And if there's one story recently, we can look at TikTok and how Trump said, you know what, we'll ban TikTok. And then all of a sudden, all these people had, followers, and they had businesses, and they had lots of like impact, social impact for themselves on TikTok, and it disappeared. Now, luckily it came back, but the fact that it was deleted by an external decision maker puts anything on the cloud at risk. Now, back to the old printed photos, I decided to pull out some photo books. They can come on CDs or physical prints. Zeke, do you have an opportunity to do our next poll, please? All right, thank you. So how many people in the room today have made their own physical digital book, whether it's on Shutterfly, Costco, Walgreens? I know it's a great gift because It's the one thing we look at. But have you ever actually done it yourself? Okay, so we'll go with about 26% as a yes and 75% as a no. Okay, it is a lot of work. I'm going to maybe agree with you. It takes planning. You need to know where your stuff is online. Let's see, share results. Or stop sharing. There we go. Photo books, if you don't know what that looks like.
I've got the perfect photo organizational system for you. How you can organize them so you can access them
Can you see that?
no matter what in the
Okay,
future.
so-
Step 1, create a separate folder in your phone where every time you take a great picture or it's a top memory of the year, add it straight to the album. So when it comes time at the end of the year, you have all of the top memories all saved in one spot. This cuts down on the amount of photos that you're going through at the end of the year. Step 2, download the Shutterfly app on your phone and periodically throughout the year, add photos from the album to your phone in Shutterfly. Then when it comes time at the end of the year to create a photo album, you have all of your photos already in Shutterfly. You already know what photos you want to use because they are already your top photos from the year and they're already in Shutterfly, so this whole photo album of the year only took me about an hour to create. Then I back up my photos with this iPhone USB. It makes it quick and easy to back up everything, and I always have these photos electronically in case anything happens with the physical photos. All of those top photos that I placed in the photo album, I get 4x6 prints and I store them in this fireproof case. That way, if I need a physical picture, I've got the perfect photo organizational system.
So that was just a quickie to say it's a lot of work. Those photo books are great. So anyone, if you've ever gotten one from someone, just shout out to them because someone spent a lot of work. Now, it's a lot to categorize, and we're going to talk about that also. So these photo books and the personalization industry is huge business in America. And just so you can see, you can see like Walgreens, which is a pharmacy, they have tons of photo projects, options, gifts, calendars, posters, blankets, mugs, and it's a great way to preserve your pictures, your greatest pictures, because again, they all get lost, they all get put in a digital storage place, and you just kind of forget about them. I'm just going to show you quickly this. We won't watch this whole video, but I'd like to just show you how these photo books are really great at preserving memories.
What is the best photo book? We're reviewing photo books from Walmart, Costco, Walgreens, Snapfish, Mixbook, Shutterfly, Sal Digital, and Google. Tons of them. We'll be looking at the book quality, but first the price and the apps and websites to create them, because I do have a secret. I found that some of them get printed at the same location. I'm a big fan of getting wall prints and books made of our photos. As you can see, we have a ton of them. It's great posting them to all the socials, but there's something about having them in a physical form where they don't get buried and you can pick them up and take a look at them. Let me know in the comments below what you do with your photos. To compare them, I created photo books using pictures of snowflakes I took this past winter. They are crazy interesting. I really hope you enjoy them as much as I do. First up is price, and let me say, do not pay full price for most of these photo books. They run sales all the time, and the only two that I paid full price for were Google and Costco. I do want to disclose that I did get a credit for the Sal Digital book, and we'll talk about that in a little bit, but I did pay some of my own money for that book as well. But this does make it very hard to compare them because they have sales running all the time, and let me give you an example. Just look at this book from Shutterfly. It originally cost $193, but after free extra pages, a discount, free shipping, it comes down to right around $27 with tax shipped to my door. Again, do not pay full price for these books. Focusing in on 8x8 books, or the closest offering each company has, here is a breakdown of the retail price for what it's worth. Again, these prices will vary a ton based on the promotions going on, so I'll make sure to put a link in the description below to each one of them so you can check them out for yourself. The apps and websites used to create and design these books can vary greatly or be very close to the same depending on which ones we're talking about. Every one of these here can use a website to design and create them. In my opinion, the website has the most control over every little detail, making sure it's just perfect, and that's my preferred method. Maybe I'm just a control freak. All of them also can be done with a mobile device. 5 of them have apps. 4 of them have really nice mobile websites that work just as well. And then Sal Digital actually has a separate application you can install on your computer, or you can actually create little pages and send them into them to get printed if that's something you would like as well. The next obvious thing is you need your photos in their platform so you can use them. All of these, you can use your mobile device or your computer to directly import them into their platform to start using them to design your books, with the exception of Google Photo Books, which needs a Google Photo Album. And speaking of those different ecosystems, there's a lot of them that do have compatibility with Google Photos, as well as Facebook and Instagram. Walmart actually has the greatest variety that it works with, including Flickr and Dropbox. And Shutterfly also has some different varieties where you can share albums with other users to share pictures. And it also works with LifeTouch, which is what our school system uses with school pictures, so we can bring those in as well.
So I just wanted to highlight that there's a lot of companies that do this out there. He's right. I also wanted to highlight that there's always a sale going on, so always check around and see what's out there. It looks overwhelming at first, but I think once you get used to the platform that you're working on, those books are really great. So on to sharing photos. Just like you would be creating these books, it's really important to find these pictures. The filing structure that you have on a hard drive, whatever, typically like I will go by year and then month. Sometimes I can't remember what something happened, so I'll even make a duplicate of the copy and just put, let's say, you know, New York City summer holiday or family vacation 2020. There are also professional digital asset management softwares out there. It stores all of your digital media, the videos, the photos, newsletters, it could be blogs. That is if you're heavily invested into doing that stuff yourself. And then, of course, the platforms that you are probably most familiar with is going to be Facebook, perhaps MySpace, which was before Facebook, and then Instagram. Now, with these, again, you're at risk with social media. Make sure the settings are private so that whatever pictures you're sharing are specifically being shared with your friends and not the public. There's several reasons you might want to do that. Putting settings in a public display exposes you to fraud. They're going to take your pictures. They could manipulate your pictures. They could start an identity theft. They could steal your identity, sorry, with that. And so it's really important that you're sharing with people you know, and the same should be very much highlighted to your grandkids. Run that message home because it's something that they need to understand and learn from. Family sharing options, there's a lot of family sharing options with the devices, and it can get pretty complicated too because we've moved through several devices. I'm assuming not everybody has had one phone in their whole life. They might have had 2 or 3 phones. But there is a really cool product out there, and I'm not here to solicit for any company whatsoever. I'm just trying to show you different places where digital photo and media is sort of shaping our lives. And this was another really cool feature. It's called an Aura frame, and it is like a picture frame. It is a picture frame, a still image picture frame, but your friends and family can download the app on their phone and they can connect to your picture frame. So they can constantly update whatever pictures they want. And then in your home, photos will flash, whether it's 100 pictures a day or 5 pictures a day, you can set it. So I just have a quick little blip here to show you how it works. It's also pretty cool.
What's up everyone, and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to unbox and set up the Aura digital picture frame. If you've never used a digital picture frame before, it's basically a frame that you can add your photos to using an app. And then the Cut. And then the photos displayed on that frame change and rotate automatically throughout the day. And I actually already have one of these, but we liked it so much we got another. Now I'll open it up and show you how it works. Comes with a user guide. And here it is. They have a couple different models to choose from, and this is the Carver frame, which has a 10.1-inch screen. And here's the back. I'll take out the power adapter. Looks like this. And it does always need to be plugged in to work, so I'll plug this side into here. And then this goes into the wall. Now to set it up, I'll download and open the Aura app. Since I already have a frame saved on it, it looks like this. And to add my new frame, I'll tap this icon on the top left, click New Frame. Since this frame is for me, I'll choose It's for Me. And if I was giving this to someone as a gift, I would choose someone else. And now I'll plug it in. Starting up. The frame is now showing a 4-digit code, so I'll type that into the app. The numbers match, so I'll hit Next. Just chose my Wi-Fi network, and that was it. Now it's connected. Then it prompts me to add my photos. I'll choose Select More Photos. Just chose a couple, and now I'll click Add. I can change the name from here, or I can keep it. If I wanted anyone else to be able to add photos to the frame, I can add them here. I'll click this blue plus sign on the right, and I can invite them by typing in either their phone number or email. And they also give you an overview of some of the features. Photos are now all in the frame.
So that was the Aura frame. There's probably other companies out there too, but that's also a cool way to get updated photos so that you don't have to change your frame at all. It will just be updated by your kids or grandkids whenever they put some good pictures on there. Oops, sorry. So now we've done the fun stuff and the techie stuff. Now we're going to talk about some scary stuff. Don't want to scare anybody, but I do think it's important to look into this. So privacy is a big deal, and it's going to always be a big deal from here on out, more so and more so, especially with the risk of AI. So whether you're posting pictures of yourself or your grandkids or your son and daughter, family reunions, your dog, it's always best to ask permission before posting to social media platforms. Schools do this automatically, but sometimes you never know. There may be that one person that really did not want their picture taken or posted on social media. You also may want to check again that the social media privacy settings, that you're sharing it with the right audience. The risk of not doing that is, again, we've talked about identity theft, but you know, if someone were to stalk you, or they want to know who your family is or your extended family, they want to know where they live, where they're on vacation, when did they leave, when are they coming back. When you're posting these pictures live as you're on vacation, you know, unfortunately, it's telling someone that your house is empty and maybe it's a prime time to have vandalism or theft from your property because they know you're on vacation. So things like posting your family vacation photos after you've come back from vacation is something that would be, you know, an option to do. There's cyber stalking. That's just when you're constantly researching people and you're looking at their photos constantly, which is like through Instagram, because you're constantly being fed whoever you're following. And some people have become really emotionally involved following certain people, even though it's just through an app. But there's a lot of emotions that are sort of shared through some of these families that get followed, especially with kids. So it's really important about kids. And then, of course, the rise of AI is super rampant, and it really does affect everyone. So the next thing I want to show you is probably the most scary video, but I have to show it just so you can see how realistic this is becoming. It's not a joke. And the video is on Ella. It's on Instagram. I could not find it in a larger screen, so I hope you can see it. But basically, it's about cyber stalking and scammers and how they use social media. Again, if anything ever like that happens to you, be sure that if there's any pressure on you for sharing information, your banking account, or services that you didn't ask for, such as tech help, make sure that if you didn't ask for it first, it's probably a scam or a hack. The one video that I'll show you here, again, it's an identity thing where they can steal your voice and it comes back to you because there's a threat and they're asking you for help. That too is a scam, and I'm going to show you this video here. Let's see here.
He can be stolen just like that.
Okay.
Mark my words, AI is far more dangerous.
Hey, Mom. Hey, Dad. It's me, Ella. Well, a digital version of me, just a bit older. Amazing what technology can do these days, isn't it? All you need are a couple of pictures, like the ones you share on social media, where they can be taken and used by everybody. I know for you these pictures are just memories, but for others, they are data. And for me, maybe the beginning of a horrible future. A future where my identity can be stolen just like that. Where I can go to prison for things that I would never do. Imagine my credit score being destroyed, Dad. Or my voice copied to scam you, Mom. Mom, I'm in trouble. I need you to send me money, please. I don't want to become a meme, humiliated by everyone at school.
Kill yourself, you fucking loser.
And I certainly don't want this. What you share online is like a digital footprint that will follow me around for the rest of my life. I'm telling you this because I know you love me and would never do anything to harm me. So please, Mom, please, Dad, protect my virtual privacy.
Mark my words.
I find that really powerful. I hope you did too. I think this is sort of the future in a lot of ways. Hopefully not, of course, but it's something to be aware of. And again, back to how these things get shared and distorted. This is what we've got on our cell phones, and it's with video. It is really intelligent in terms of the quality of the picture. And just so you know that you can turn off location settings in your phone. So if you have, for example, the iPhone on the right, every picture you take has the time, date, and location. There's two ways you can turn it off, or you can delete the location if that's of value to you. It's called scrubbing, is when you take off the information that's tagged to the image. And the other reason that they're doing all this social sharing and so on is because they can target advertising. So if you're driving down Highway 95 and you're approaching exit 67 and they know that you bought McDonald's on a Tuesday last week and it's Tuesday again, maybe you want McDonald's again, they're going to flash you a McDonald's ad while you're driving and you're using your mapping software, for example. So they know what's where, and they know your habits and your behaviors based on what's out there. Let me see here.
Your kids and grandkids download it to have fun and make silly animated faces, but Snapchat's latest update could put their safety in jeopardy. The reason for concern? Anyone downloading Snapchat's new Snap Maps option can be tracked to their exact location without even realizing that info is being made available. 8 on your side's Jen Holloway joins us now to explain.
You know, it's concerning enough to know that a child could be contacted by strangers through social media, but this latest Snapchat update, it can display exactly where they are, down to a specific street address anywhere in the world. Marianne Kakuza says she checks and approves her daughter's downloads pretty much every day.
Like most parents, I think we're just kind of figuring it out as we go.
And like many young girls, her daughter asked to be on Snapchat.
And the reason she wanted it is so she could make all those goofy, animated, bug-eyed faces.
But Snapchat's latest upgrade option takes you from puppy and kitty filters to potentially showing your exact location. And that's why Marianne is warning other parents.
I talked to another mother yesterday. They had no idea that this was even a possibility. No clue. All kinds of new features go into those updates that you're not aware of unless you're really researching every single app. And who does that?
Even Tampa's police department is cautioning parents about the Snapchat change.
When you're giving people your location and you don't know who they are, you never know what's going to happen.
And while there are some options to the new feature to opt out of the geo-tracking, Marianne still has concerns.
Well, what if your friend is showing it to someone else? And then that someone else knows where my daughter is, exactly where my daughter is.
And when users activate the feature for the very first time, they are given 3 options: to make their locations visible to all their friends, secondly, make it visible only to selected friends, or thirdly, nobody at all. Snapchat is calling that latter option the ghost mode feature. Back to you.
And the last bit about the scary stuff. So because there's all this information out there, and it is of value to certain people, whether it's good or bad, there's a bit of sort of oversharing, and that's called sharenting. Sharenting, the actual definition is when parents or caregivers share information about their children online, often on social media. But let's take this into context. When we had nothing but digital photos, you could only print 24 or 36 at a time. And some of them were good and some of them were bad, right? The average parent today on a study says that they've shared, not taken, but shared 1,500 photos, mostly on Facebook, of a child before they turned 5 years old. That's a lot of pictures. And these pictures today are now training the AI systems that are out there. So I don't know what that's going to look like, but that's why they own the data that has been put on those platforms, and so that they can use it to monetize the information that's out there. And so what's interesting about sharenting is that now these kids who have grown up being online and information has been shared without their consent, they're now at the age where they're either dating or they're trying to get a job or they're applying to college. And all this evidence of them that they don't want to present because it's an invasion of their privacy affects their job opportunities, potential college applications, and so on. So what's interesting is that this is the first generation of older kids that are actually suing their parents for oversharing. There's a couple famous cases out there. I just took one headline in Illinois, but basically parents are monetizing, becoming influencers by have shared pictures of their cats, their dogs. They don't complain so much, but the kids are complaining. So there is an amazing girl, her name's Chris McCarty, and she started Quit Clicking Kids, and she's gotten I think 10 states in the United States, the governors have signed bills to protect children who have been used as influencers on even just like family sharing. So let's say a user or a mother and father who puts a lot of stuff out and they have content and they've become an influencer, but it's because they're sharing pictures of their kid growing up. Now there are certain laws in place where actually that child is entitled to a percentage of the earnings when they turn 18 or 16, it depends on the state, because the parents have been able to monetize their kids' pictures. So this is a very new thing. It's really interesting. In fact, the girl who started Quit Clicking Kids, she's still in college in Washington State. I interviewed her for a blog. She's just amazing. And she really wants basically protection, and that the data, if these kids, let's say, turn a certain age and they don't want that information online anymore, they can mandate to Facebook or Snap or Instagram to have that data removed. And by law, by I guess state law, they have to remove that content so that the kids can kind of start with a clean slate of adult social media behavior. So I thought that was really cool. And I'm so glad she's doing that. And I think that is the end of my scary stuff. So I will take questions. I can try to answer them. I hope this was interesting and educational. I hope everyone's still here.
No, let's all give Tatyana a big hand for this great presentation. And I see people are already raising their hands to ask questions. One question that came up in the chat is where the video will be available. I put the slides on my website and I put that into the chat. I can do that again, but you're going to put this on your website. Is that right, Tatyana?
Yes, actually, yes. I'm going to put it on our YouTube channel. Would it be okay if I sent you the link and you could put that on your?
Sure.
Would that be okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'll put it on our YouTube channel, and then through Dave, we can find it.
Yeah, I can put it next to where the slides are on my webpage.
Okay.
Great. And so we got a bunch of people with their hands up, but again, thank you so much. Lots of compliments in the chat. So if you have a question, use the raise hand button, or sometimes under the react button or the more button, depending on your device, to raise your hand in Zoom. And Marilyn, go ahead and unmute.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Merlin. Try now.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. Thank you. So thank you. That was a very interesting presentation. And my question is regarding photo albums. I had had a DVD prepared through Costco of family photos over the past 30 years of, vacations and kids and grandkids and so forth. How would I be able to have Walmart or some other company prepare a photo album for me from the DVD so I'd be able to have it in that format?
Yeah, sure. So it could be a family member who's tech savvy, because it's not difficult as long as you have the pictures that you want to use. So they'll take it from the DVD and then they'll put it into the app. So it could be Shutterfly, it could be Costco, it could be Walgreens. There's a bunch of different ones. And once the pictures are on that platform, then they'll arrange it in whatever order you want, and you can pick for a hardcover book. I like the hardcover. It's a nice thick,
Right, yeah, I would like that.
And then, yeah, because that's the nicest way to look at some of the pictures are in those photo books. Yeah, it's very simple to do. It just takes a little bit of time.
Okay, all right, thank you.
So the company won't do it for you. If you have someone that could do it for you, that's how you probably should do it. Maybe.
Well, I may have to go through a company because the person is in a different location, in a different city.
Oh, okay.
So if I have to go through a company, would Walmart or if I go through the photos with Walmart, would they be able to make up the photo album and selected, photos that I need?
I don't think so, just because it's so personalized that unless they have some dedicated, there are people, and I can get you the name. There are people that specifically do exactly what you do. They're kind of like photo librarians, and they help organize your pictures and save your pictures. I have the name, but I don't have it on the tip of my head. I can get it to Dave if you'd like.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, sure.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Hi, Joan, go ahead and unmute. Thanks, Marilyn.
Okay, I just as an aside, okay, in my humble opinion, I think it's sad that kids are suing their parents for you know, things like sharing photos and things like that online, but I'm just wondering, why can't somebody, if they don't like it, like in Facebook or whatever, I never use Snapchat, so I don't know, why can't they just delete it or report it? Because I've done that myself. If there's something I don't like or something that's, you know, maybe derogatory or something that, you know, I just delete it. You know, so why can that be done? And, you know, is that another
Yeah,
option?
the challenge is that it's the parents posting. So unless you specifically tell the author that they should take it down, it's up to them to do it. You can't take it down for them. So that's
Oh,
the
you can't.
challenge.
Oh, okay. I thought if it
You
was
can take it off of your feed, which means it won't prompt showing you. But
okay.
the person who's the author can
They
put
have,
whatever they want. Yeah.
yeah, I've reported things, you know,
Yeah, that's great.
so
But it's the author that is sort of got
possible.
the power. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and sometimes, often they don't see that they're doing that sort of damage. It shows up a little too late because it's always cute pictures until it's not cute enough.
Great. Yeah. Hi, Annie. Go ahead and unmute.
Real quick question, Tatyana. There was on that very fast video that you showed, one of the last things they mentioned were these little 4x6 cases in a fireproof box. Did that have a name?
I don't remember that. I don't think I saw a name, but I'm sure you can find them. I'm sure there's lots of them.
Okay, I guess I'll try.
I would just go, I don't know. I would Google it, or I'm happy to look for you. That's a good question, but I'm pretty sure that there are several different kinds that are fireproof.
Yeah, it's the fireproof part that is of interest to me because I have a lot of physical prints and I'd like to keep them safe. But even putting them, you know, in a box in your closet or even in a small safe, they're not safe from fireproof. So I would like to do that. And so I'll search on Amazon. I find everything there.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Annie. And do we have time for one more question, Zeke?
Sure, make it quick, Robbie. Go ahead, buddy. Go ahead and unmute, Robbie. There you go.
So, Tatyana, you showed somewhere during the presentation that a device could be connected to iPhone to download the pictures. If that is possible, then I would also think that it is like an external hard drive. And are there any devices like that available to kind of offload memory from the iPhone to these things?
Yes, yes. And they are like the size of a thick credit card, some of them.
Okay.
There's if you go to YouTube and just type in the top 2025 external hard drives for iPhones, they just plug right in and you can download all your videos and photos and free up your camera space. Yeah.
Yeah, you just may need an adapter depending on your phone. Robbie, it may have the old lightning plug or the newer phones have USB-C. And there's lots and lots of external drives that work with USB-C. And then there's videos. There's an app called Files on the iPhone, and that drive will show up and you can export photos and save them on that drive.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, let's give Tatyana a big thank you. This was wonderful.
Thank you, everybody.